So today we're going to take a look at the MSI GS63VR Stealth Pro 7RF. Ooh, that's a mouthful. So it's a thin and light laptop. This is actually last year's model, but you can probably still find it in stores today. So for those of you who don't know, the displays on these laptops can kind of vary based off of where you buy them. So this model is actually from Best Buy. It ends in the it has like a 252 model number after the official MSI SKU number or whatever it is. And it has a TN panel, and I didn't really believe it when I first read about it. I wanted to get this laptop. This one's actually used, got it off eBay for my wife, and I just thought, I've used TN panels before in the past. How bad can it be? People are pretty negative about it, and I thought that they're probably just exaggerating, right? But after I've gotten it and used it for a little while, it's actually pretty bad. So it actually gets to a point where it kind of hurts to use it because the colors it's so kind of washed out and cold, and just any kind of variation in the viewing angles can change the color drastically. Like if I just tilt this screen just a little, you can already see that the colors have changed, and just it's pretty terrible. Like you can't see the background anymore. All of it is just gone. And then the further you go, the worse it gets. I mean, that looks kind of extreme here, but I assure that in person, even just moving your head a little bit up and down, just it looks bad. To that end, I've decided to kind of try buying a different display online. Here's the box they shipped it in. I mean, pretty standard, I guess, cardboard box. They have some nice fragile tape all around it, so hopefully, let's see, USPS, US Postal Service, actually paid heed to that and took care of this thing. So let's just cut this open real quick and see what's inside. All right, cut that. Go. Go. Alright, so yeah, I haven't opened this before, so you can see this the first time just as I'm opening it. So however they package this thing, we'll get to find out. Okay, pretty smart to use another bubble mailer inside the cardboard box to kind of keep it safe. So let's take a peek there. Wow, okay, well that's this thing's actually a lot thinner than I thought it would be. Alright. A little careful with taking this thing out, just because I don't want to damage any of it. Okay, well here it is. So I guess that's it. Before we actually get to the screen, I did want to mention that I'm reading people saying that it'd be a good idea to disconnect the battery pack from the main board before you actually do that. So lid is off. The next part here, I've already disconnected it, but here is the battery pack, obviously, or maybe not so obviously, but it's right there. This is the power connector, and it hooks them to the main board right over here. Now, this was kind of a pain to get out just because there's not exactly a whole lot of wiggle room here, so it's kind of slowly just keep pulling and prying and gently as gently as you can to get this out, and now it's disconnected. So key tool at this juncture is gonna be your good old trusty heat gun. So basically this whole bezel around the screen is simply held on by some simple adhesive. I didn't buy any extra tape, so I'm going to try to use a heat gun and try to keep it as intact as possible as I just kind of slowly and carefully lift it all the way around. I didn't want to buy a new bezel from MSI either, so that's just how it's going to go. All right, so I'm going to power this on a little bit, start getting it going. So one thing to keep in mind is that you might want to have something to just kind of slowly pry it up. I just have this little grocery store plastic card thing that I'm going to use. So with that said, let's kind of have at it. So there actually is a small seam on both sides here. You can kind of see it lifted up a little bit. It is held in by a little bit of some plastic clips, so that just comes up. You kind of see it going a little. But I'm just going to go ahead and start heating this up so I can slowly lift it without causing too many issues. So of course with the heat gun, you don't want to hold it in one spot for too long. So I'm just going to keep kind of going back and forth the area where I plan on lifting. Kind of test a little bit after a bit just to kind of see how it's going. And then I'm just going to start going ahead and lifting just a little bit. So of course, if you don't have a heat gun, you could always kind of do this with just a hair dryer. That'll work as well. Of course, you don't want to melt the plastic either, so that would suck pretty badly. So I'm going to heat it up a little bit. I'm going to turn this off. I'll slowly kind of like try to lift this up and kind of go along this edge. Just set aside these tiny little screws, don't want to lose those. Alright, screws are off, so now we just want to gently lift up on this panel. There is a cable that runs all the way around. Just want to be careful over there. Got this up. I'm just going to flip this over. Get this cable off. Okay, so now that the panel is up, there's a little sticker right here. I'll go ahead and just lift that to get the connector loose. Just slowly peel that up. Okay, and then we're just going to pop that right off. And with that, the display is free. So if you're out with the old, go over here, in with the new. So I'm gonna leave this on here for now, just to keep it protected. I'm gonna flip this over and reattach this 30-pin connector. Just pop in right like that. So I heard it kind of click. And now that it's in there, I'm going to go ahead and hold on this tape and then just reattach it like so. All right, and now I'm going to carefully flip this back around. Let's see, just to double check, there is a place for this wire to go, so I don't want this to get stuck anywhere. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that for now. Be right back once I actually get that wire aligned on the left side. Okay, guys, so now we're back on our desktop with Rilakkuma and his little friend Korilakkuma and the bird. So it looks really good. I mean, I don't know how well it comes across in the video. Maybe not the best, but if you take a look at this, if I move the screen, you can still see all of the little characters in the background. If I move left and right, not a whole lot of color change. This panel looks way, way better. But yeah, so that's basically all there is to it. So I do have to put the bezel back on here, but at this point the job is basically done. So I mean, if you didn't mind having some wires and everything sticking out, I guess you could use this laptop as is, but I'm going to try to make it look a little prettier. Okay, well, thanks for sticking with me, guys. This has been how to install a screen from laptopscreen.com. I hope this has been pretty helpful for you guys.